Hello, this is Eric Juarez, and this is Odessa After Dark for June 24th. On today's episode, Zach Herard interviews City Council member Sandra Carrasco, and Zoe Alvarado interviews two of her fellow castmates from Ave Q and director Mark Tenniswood with the award-winning show now running in the Black Box in Odessa. And now Zach Herard with his interview with Sandra Carrasco.
Hello, everyone. I'm Zach. I'm here with Sandra Carrasco. We're here at Floyd Gwynn Park, and it's a year later. We talked to you, a year ago. How does it feel to not be kind of the freshman member of the city council? How have things changed since we talked to you last?
Well, since last time that we spoke, of course, I was a newbie. It's been the learning curve. I actually realized how things are starting to come together, how things function, and how my decisions really they could either bite me in the butt later on in life or try to make decisions based on how I'm going to affect the people of Odessa, and it's been an eye-opener more than anything.
And then last year, kind of the hot topic at the time was the water issue. And now this year we kind of have some, I don't think they're quite as heated, but
right.
We do have some pressing issues, I guess, and that's one of them is like the plastic bag ban that's been proposed. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. And, last year with the water issue, it was quite a nail biter, trying to how we were going to figure this out to say it wouldn't hurt the constituents, but either way, the taxpayer got hurt either way. Water is still an issue. We're still restricting people twice a week. We are in the middle of a desert, but we are working really, really hard to try to get enough water to our area. We have actually fields in Ward County, North and South fields in Ward County, and we're also working a deal with Fort Stockton, the city of Fort Stockton, trying to do the best we can to bring water to a place that is booming in economy. So, and now with the plastic trash bag, as a matter of fact, last year we touched the subject, but it really didn't go anywhere. This year we have two new council people, a new mayor, and Mayor Turner's done an exceptional job in trying to bring pride back into our community, trying to find ways of how we can do that. And one of the things is, you're going I-20, you see other places, nice landscape, maybe you'll see vegetation grown a little bit, but no trash. Come through I-20, you start seeing Odessa, Midland, and what do you see? Just plastic bags everywhere, tangled up in mesquite, because we don't have trees, we have mesquite trees.
Right.
And that is the hardest thing. When I've gone myself with Keep Odessa Beautiful and the Community in Action people, cleaning up the city, the hardest thing is trying to get those darn plastic bags off those trees. The only way is to cut the limb to clean this up.
There's other towns who've implemented this particular ban on the plastic bags
Right.
already. Fort Stockton, Austin, some other towns, and I guess it's been successful for the most part. How do you see?
So far we've heard, there is controversy, of course. We do care about our small business owners, and I know that it's going to affect them. So when we vote, it's going to be, with so much trying to find out. We're researching, trying to find out what's the best for both sides. I mean, we do want to clean up the city. We do want to bring pride into our area, but at the same time, we don't want to hurt the small business owners. So it's give and take, and hopefully we can find a medium, we can find something, and that's where we're asking the public. That's why we've had at least 2 council meetings where we've asked the public, tell us what you want, because we're elected officials and we're there for a purpose, to represent your district as best as you can. And if you don't come and tell me what it is that you want, you know, I'm only going to vote with the information that's given to me.
So, also, there's a dollar fee on the water bills as it is, that it goes to something in particular. I'm not real sure, so you have to explain
Sure,
this to
no problem. The dollar program was something that we discussed in council about 2 months ago. The dollar fee was done back in '96 to help fund a nonprofit group called the Parks Foundation. And what it was designed for was to, you know, extra things that you want in the parks, you know, and nothing against the Parks Foundation. They've done an excellent job. They help provide playgrounds when there's not enough money in the general fund in the city, so they donate playgrounds. My reasoning behind me voting against it was that the contract had expired. It had expired, to my knowledge, and my reading of it, it had expired a year ago. Now, to me, either you refund the residents of the city of Odessa that dollar, and sure, it's $1, and I even got patronized for saying, oh, they want their dollar back. That's not the point. The point is that if something is not legal, then it needs to be fixed. If the contract was not valid and it did expire, I believed that it was null. That dollar shouldn't have been taken out of your water bill, and that was my whole reasoning behind it. Now they argued back and forth that it was still an ongoing contract, and that was the whole discussion. I didn't feel that in order for me as a councilwoman to see transparency, and if you're getting taxpayers' money going into a nonprofit, I want to see where the money's going.
Right.
Show me the money, okay? Show me where it's going and how it's providing to my community. They failed to do that.
Okay.
We have an audit once a year. I never saw that audit. So I had several things that I had questions on that I didn't feel that they were adequately answered. Now after the two months have passed, I mean, they're going to give us quarterly audits. They're going to tell us where it's going, et cetera, et cetera. But my biggest thing was none of the other council people stood up for that, and it really upset me.
And this is just supplemental funding, right? Like there's
Yes,
already funding for
they
parks,
have people.
right?
Yes, well, we do have from the sales tax.
Right.
There's a portion that goes for parks.
Okay. So
But
this
it-
isn't essential funding.
Right. Well, see, at the beginning, I mean, you do have people that donate, like Devon Energy, big oil companies that,
Through the nonprofit.
right,
Okay.
that donate for them. But at a certain time when we went through a recession, funds were very low, and that's what they came up with at that time. I'm sure at that time it was great, but my question was, you need to be transparent. Where's the money? Show me where it's going. And they weren't prepared for all my questions.
Right. So we for the last year, we're not sure where that money was going. Is that?
Well, since then they've told
Since
us
then
where
they-
they went, what
okay.
they funded. But at the time, this should have been already available to anybody that wanted to come in
Right.
and question. And that was the problem that I had with that.
Speaking of kind of the lack of transparency in that particular case, is there any reason for people to maybe wonder about some of the other organizations that get money from the city?
Right. Well, if they're federal grants like the community block grants, also known as the CDBGs, we do have audits on that all the time. We do have a finance committee that overlooks that for us. Of course, we also get anything that's on the agenda, anything that we have any questions on, we could always question. They're pretty good about doing that. Last council meeting, we had our annual, which is the hardest council for me because we have to allocate those funds, those federal funds, to our nonprofits like Meals on Wheels, Odessa Housing Authority, OC. There's just so many different nonprofits that will come to us for help. And the hardest thing to say is, oh, we don't have enough money for you. Now, the way that this works is that, like I was explaining earlier, Texas does have a Robin Hood clause. What that means is since Ector County is doing really good right now, the money that is some tax money, a certain percentage will go back to the state of Texas, and then they refund to the less fortunate counties that are struggling right now. Which means our federal grant shortens.
Right.
So we had, myself and Barbara Graff, we voted that, because almost everything is funded for code enforcement, and the community development comes from the CDBGs as well. We asked that some of that come from our general fund. And it was a fight, but I'm proud to say that because we did put up a fight, we're able to fund, Meals on Wheels for our elderly, and also the Odessa Housing Authority for our elderly people that were going to be pretty much without a home if we didn't do that. It's things like that that really, I think that's the reason why I'm still in the position that I am, because I'm trying the best that I can to do the things that I feel that are right. And like I said, if people have any suggestions, any ideas, you could always go to the city website, put them in there, or email me your ideas, or if you have a concern, or we here recently, Councilman McNeil and Councilwoman Graff, they've been having City Hall town meetings. I wish they were more vocal and would put it out in the social media. So, because that's what it's about. It's all about connecting. So anyway, and that's why I'm doing this today.
Right. To go back to the parking, I know there's really not been a proposal per se, correct? Okay, so has there been what kind of talk has been of what would be the fines? What would
Oh, we said. Like I said, we're still, everything's on the table.
Right.
We haven't even discussed how much the fines would be. Or if we have enough people in code enforcement to enforce
Well, that's another question I had was
Yeah.
because then you have people we have to drive around and look
Right.
for people watering their yard at a certain time, to
True.
do that, and
It's
then dumping,
We're having to compete. The city employees, we're having to compete with the oil field. You either can make $10 an hour working for the city, or make $13 as a labor hand at your local pipeline construction company. So we're very short-staffed, even in animal control, streets, even for our trash. They're picking up trash once a week because we don't have enough trucks. We don't have enough people to drive the trucks. So code enforcement is also, everything's going to be, I guess these are the growing pains for all the growth that we've had. I guess in essence, it's, this is the downside to all the booming.
Right, and as someone else pointed out, some of the reason why there might be so many cars at one household is you have multi-family dwellings, but that's because people have nowhere to live. So,
yes, we're also working on that, trying to get more affordable housing, because you do have single moms that are not able to afford that rent anymore, that are struggling and having to move in back with family to try to make this work. And that's another thing that we've been discussing as well. And that's not to say, we do all this development, where are we going to get the water for all these folks? So right now it's such a critical time for us. And like I said, suggestions are welcome.
And now we're standing out kind of in the wind. I forgot what I was going to say. Now we're out in the wind, in Floyd wind, and Sandra's going to explain to us kind of the up and coming improvements that are going to be made to this park?
Well, I'm super excited. You know, in 10 years, Floyd Gwynn has not had an upgrade or a facelift. We don't have any bathrooms, so anybody that comes here has no public restrooms. I'm proud to say that I've worked really hard, and the rest of council has helped as well, and that we will provide new restrooms. And in this area, on this side of the volleyball court, we are going to have a section in front of us for the older kids. Then we're going to have a covered area with 5 picnic tables. And in the back, we're going to have a toddler section that was donated by the Parks Foundation. And I'm super excited because this is one of the first parks here in Odessa, and we need to take hopefully good care of it, and hopefully more things to come.
Okay. And when should we expect all these?
The improvements are, I believe, in July. I don't have an exact date yet. But on that day that we do have the playground in place, I'm inviting the neighbors to come out. I would like to have a city, like a little town hall meeting, and I'll provide food and drinks, and people just to come and approach me. And if you have a concern or any issues that have been bugging you about your district, I want to know about it. I want to be able to hear you out. I can't promise that I'll fix everything, but I will hear you, and my intentions are to better our community and the quality of life where we live.
And what's the best way to, because since we don't have an exact date, how can people kind of keep up to date on, you know?
We are going to post it on the parks website and also on the city.
Okay.
That, you know, the town hall meetings, I believe they're posting it there. I'll let Daniel know.
Okay.
That way you guys can post it. I mean, the more people that can come out and tell me, and there's no negatives. I mean, I'm here for you.
All right, and really, I guess that's all we have. And thank you for joining us.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so it's nice to talk to you. I look forward to coming out for the improvements to the park.
Absolutely, and I hope you guys come out. It's great to have you.
Hi, my name is Alvarado, and we are interviewing the cast of Ave Q. This is Maya, and will you tell us who you play? And
I play Kate Monster. Yeah.
can you tell me more about her?
Well, she's a monster, and I'm her person. So, Kate is a kindergarten teaching assistant in her day job, but she's searching for her purpose. She wants to build a school only for monsters.
So who's directing the show, and where is it taking place?
The show is directed by Mark Tenniswood of Mark 10 Theatricals, and it takes place in the Globe Theater's Black Box on the Odessa College campus.
So you have many roles throughout your life. How is this different with the puppet?
It's actually very challenging. Holding a puppet and manipulating her mouth and her arm is a lot more contained than me being able to express myself as an actress. So it's a challenge, but I'm having a lot of fun because she's the focus and not me.
So how is this unique for Odessa Theater?
This show is very unique to Odessa Theater because it's adult-oriented and it's with puppets. But the real unique part of this show is that we are the first theater in our region to do this show. So it's a premiere for the Permian Basin.
What would you tell adults who want to bring their children to this puppet show?
This is not for children. This show is specifically written for adults. It has adult themes, it has adult content. It was written by the authors of South Park, so that gives you a clue right there.
So thank you for letting us interview you. Can you tell us the dates of the shows?
Thanks for having me. The show runs June 21st through July 6th here at the Black Box Theater, and if we get enough people, then we'll hold over for 2 more weekends. Come see Kate and I. Hi!
First off, tell us who you are and who you play.
My name is Tony Prather. I play the characters of Trekkie Monster, Nikki, and the boy Bad Idea Bear.
So can you tell us what's the most difficult part of controlling puppets?
Well, I think the biggest challenge for me has been being aware of what my puppet's doing without actually physically watching the puppet, because it's very hard to consider what the puppet's actually doing if you're not staring right at it. But one of the big things is the puppet has to be an extension of the actor rather than the focus of the actor. Well, realistically, each character has its own voice, its own personality, and kind of keeping yourself focused on who you're dealing with and who you are at the time is kind of it's an interesting challenge.
So why should people come and see Avenue Q?
Realistically, people should come see this show because every adult, somewhere, whether they want to admit it or not, still holds on to the fantasy of wanting to live in a world full of puppets. And this allows them to live that fantasy out.
So why did you decide to pick this show and bring it to Odessa, Texas?
Well, I choose Avenue Q because, mostly because it's an incredibly popular and very, very, very well written and funny show. But the reason that I brought it to Odessa specifically is because that's one of the missions of the Black Box. We're doing shows that have more of an adult appeal that you can't do in a lot of the community theaters around town.
Do you think it's a risk to bring this adult-oriented show to Odessa?
I don't think that the show is risky at all. In fact, everybody I've told that we're doing the show, if they've heard of the show, they say, oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite shows. The people that haven't heard of, I'll tell them what it is, and for the most part, they say, wow, that sounds so exciting. I think that Odessa, as a city, isn't going to have a problem at all with the adult nature of the show. I just think that they need to be aware not to bring the little kids to it. But bring your teenagers. They'll think you're really cool.
So as a director, what is the most exciting part about this entire process?
Most exciting part. Well, before I started it, I would say just the ability to do it, just listening to the music, which has been one of my favorite, scores for the last 10 years since it came out on Broadway. But now that I'm in the process of doing it and building all these puppets and watching them come to life, I have to say the most exciting part is watching these people, some people I've worked with before, some people who are brand new at this, just floor me with their talent. It's amazing seeing what they can do with the puppets and with the songs and bringing it to a whole new dimension, making the show their own. That's the most exciting part for me.
So if anybody wants to come and see the show, where can they go or who can they contact?
Well, the easiest way to make reservations is through the website. My theater company is Mark 10 Theatricals. That's MARK10 Theatricals, and the website is mark10theatricals.com. And they could also call our business phone, which is 853-5249. Our house seats about 30 right now, and if we sell out and have to bump it up, we enter into another phase of our contract with the publisher, which we're happy to do. And tickets are $20 a piece because this is not part of a regular season. This is a special event. This is actually a fundraiser to work towards renovating the Black Box. Right now, the Black Box Theater is just a big black box, and there's not a lot of theatrical stage lighting or its own sound system. We just bring in what we can from the outside. And the whole reason I'm doing theater here is to help the Globe raise money to actually turn this into a proper theater.
So thank you for letting us interview you.
And join us in 2 weeks when we start talking about the missing person, Annabelle Juarez.